Hey y'all, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of Versions of Healing, the interview segment of the Healing Version podcast. Today's episode is one you don't want to miss because we're talking about something that so many people silently struggle with, and that's the connection between our skin, our emotions, and our self worth. Joining me today is Zhanna Gavrilov, and she is a European born, California based holistic skin specialist, licensed esthetician, certified life coach, and a founder of Integrative Aesthetics Skincare Studio and Radiance Coach, an online platform dedicated to helping women heal their skin from the inside out. With over 25 years of experience in skincare, wellness, and personal development, Johanna has devoted her career to helping women achieve radiant skin and lasting confidence through a truly integrative approach. After years of working in both the spa and clinical settings, she realized that lasting skin transformation requires more than just products and treatments alone. She discovered that stress, mindset, emotional well being, nutrition, and self care habits all play a major role in skin habits. Today, through Radiance Coach, Johanna helps women address the root cause of acne and other skin concerns by combining professional skincare routines, guidance, and lifestyle coaching, mindfulness, stress reduction, nutrition, and emotional support. She is also the creator of Harmony Facial and the Radiant Skin Wellness Journey, a 90-day guide holistic acne clearing program designed to transform not only the skin, but also self confidence and overall well being. Thank you so much for being here. You all helped me welcome Johanna to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like more women needs to hear the message about the skin and about the inner and outer beauty. And may I teach you how to say my name right? It's Zhanna.
Jana. And look,
Hard.
I am so sorry, Jana. I'm really big on that. If your name is not pronounced right, definitely correct it because that's your brand. So yes, Jana, thank you. And thank you for being here. So I just want to just kind of jump into the interview. My first question for you is what led you to combine skincare and emotional wellness together as one?
Well, yes, this is a good question. It's actually what made my work meaningful by combining these two areas. Because I've been working as an esthetician for many years, 90s actually. I was trained back in former Soviet Union, and then I moved here in the early 90s, got my license here, been working here for many, many years. Regular aesthetics, even though they're great, we do a good job, there was something missing. Through my own self development, I realized that there's more to what I'm doing than just kind of application of products, doing treatments for people, supporting them, yes, but there's more because we're a whole body, we're not just the skin. So, working on myself, I then started to noticing the same pattern with my clients, right? They're not being kind to themselves. They're not speaking nicely to themselves about themselves. So that's when I realized combining the emotional aspect while they're here in the room with me with the doing the treatment can bring such better results, so much more satisfaction. They feel lighter when they leave. They understand much more how everything is interconnected. So now it's my life work actually to help women support their skin holistically using the diet, using the lifestyle, using skincare and treatments, of course. And main thing is emotional inner outer alignment.
And so what does that look like if someone comes in? Like, is there like a questionnaire to kind of find out like where they are mentally to kind of map out what they would need as far as their skincare?
Yes, I always do in-depth consultation, whether it's someone who's coming into my studio here in California or online, in my groups or one-on-one coaching. I will always start with in-depth consultation with what's going on in all of those areas. So I need to find out what are they even thinking about their skin, how they talk to themselves, how would they like for their skin to look, what their skin goals, and sense their energy, about all of that as well.
That's really good. I've never thought to couple the two together, but I think that's really important because I think about people who have acne and how they like kind of hide and, don't want to take pictures. And I've seen like the testimonials on the commercials where they're like, yeah, I didn't want to go outside. I didn't hang out with friends. So it is a real, kind of
Y-
self love type thing and lack
Yeah.
thereof. So, why do you believe that acne is often deeper than the skin issue?
Yes, because our skin is the messenger, right? What we see here is a message. It's not a something to fight and control. With all of the years of studying in all the different areas and holistic aesthetics and um, human communications, in life coaching schooling that I've done, in nutrition counseling, you understand that everything comes from within, and what we see on the surface is basically a manifesting of that. So it's a
Hmm.
message. My job is to help you understand what is this message is. For example, depending where we're breaking out, it can show us which organs are affected because our organs
Mm.
are represented on the face. So everything from
Oh.
the upper side of the face, like from the lips up, most of it is digestive. Everything that's here, we call it hormonal acne. That's your jawline, your neck, your chest, your back. That's liver distress. So depending on what's going on, then we go in and we're asking, okay, so how's your diet, right? What's your environment like? As there is any toxicity in your environment, and that's part of the lifestyle pillar that I always go into. And then we go into nutrition. And then all of this is supported by how they feel about all of that. Because I tell them once you get your protocol, we know how to treat your skin. It will not really give you great results if you're not internally aligned and supporting it and focusing on positive instead of negative anymore. Because now that you have your protocol, you have a path, which is going to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that journey together. I'm going to hold your hand through it. So that works much better. And it's interesting that a lot of times young women then later realize that they came for the face problem, right? For acne, for the skin, but they learned so much more that they
Mm-hmm.
can use their life for their self healing, for their alignment. How important it is to be kind to yourself and to be supportive to yourself instead of fighting and being harsh and threat themselves apart. Like we all women, we do that, unfortunately.
Oh wow. I like that, Jonna. Like I love that like I've never thought of like putting the two together. I know I said that already, but it's like to just think of it as, it's like almost like a clinic almost. Like we're gonna tackle, the skin issue, but it's not just the skin because if you don't deal with what's deeper, then you could just go back to like the whatever skin issues you have.
Yes, because it's only going to be treating the symptoms then. For example, I love Louise Hay work. I don't know if you're familiar. She has a book, "You Can Heal Your Life." So in that book, there's a list of all kinds of different diseases, right, that been happening and the probable emotional cause of it. So acne, guess what? It says for acne, for skin issues, a lot of it is not accepting yourself, like rejecting yourself. So the spiritual
Mm,
probable cause of skin issues, acne, is rejecting self, not accepting, dislike of self. How interesting, right?
mm,
And a lot of
yeah,
times when we have acne, we dislike ourselves even more, if you think about it. Right. So
yeah.
we work on that during the treatment, during the courses that I do. We work on aligning that to do creating awareness at least first of
Mm-hmm.
like how do you treat yourself, right? I call
Yeah.
this I call this skin exile. Like, and I want to end that. Like you exile, you separate from yourself from the way how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself because of your skin. So I
Mm, I
want to
like
end
that.
bring them back home to themselves, where we love and accept ourselves. And even though something is going on, we know that this is just a message and we can understand it and we can treat it.
Absolutely. So, in what ways does stress and emotions like
Mhm.
directly affect the skin?
Yes, because stress raises the hormone cortisol. It's a stress hormone. So when there's too much, when the levels are up, it leads to inflammation. And when there's a lot of inflammation in the body, the detox cannot happen properly. And skin is organ of detox. So skin will
Mm,
also participate in detox when the liver and the kidneys are not, they're just overwhelmed. So, and it's just one part of what may cause acne, right? If the stress level is really high. Also, if the stress level is really high, we might not eat well, right? We might not,
mm-hmm.
take care of ourselves in the right way. So when we're not eating right, then that's also contributing. So it's all, again, it's all connected.
So almost like toxins coming out and
Exactly.
permeating in the skin. That makes sense. So, what does a holistic approach to skin healing look like?
So the holistic approach is what I am usually starting with the clients. First of all, the consultation, that we're figuring out what's going on in all of those areas. I usually focus on 4 pillars of holistic acne healing. It's their diet, they're going in depth in their diet, and
Mm-hmm.
suggest adjustments if needed. We also look at lifestyle, what's going on with the stress management, with their lifestyle. Is there an how they take care of themselves. We also go into treatments and skincare, like so they understand what products that they need to use, what to avoid, what their ingredients, what are the healthy, clean skincare products, and what's not. And of course, the inner outer alignment, that basically emotional connection to
Mm-hmm.
themselves, right? So the 4 areas that creates this holistic acne healing.
And I'm sure that process looks different for each person. So, how do you decide what an individual needs? Like, is there like a skin consultation to decide like what work as far as product will work best for the individual?
Yes, depending what's going on, definitely. Um, there's a majority of people will have similar situations because of the standard American diet, junky diet creates a lot of the
That's a whole
same.
nother conversation
Yes,
in
exactly.
itself.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but of course, everyone has their own certain nuances that we need to look at, like what's going on. Some people, I have a lot of young women. They might be, finishing college, and they have a lot of stress, even though they're trying to. So we pay attention to that, or maybe there's women who are, young mothers, and they have, they don't have time to eat healthy for themselves. So it just depends what's going on, and we try to create a strategy for them of what are we going to do. Like I had a client I think her junior year of college, and because of her diet wasn't really not up to a par, we had to uh, you know create a plan of what is she going to do. She's living in the dorm, I think she was, or apartments there by the college. So create, like, she had to bring a air fryer, or finding the place where she buys food. So it depends what's going on with each person. So we create that kind of plan, and we usually stay in connection, especially first 3 months. Especially first months is that where I find people need a lot of support, because this is different, right? They decide to make changes, and changes are not always so easy, but
Mm-mm.
it's okay. It's okay, we do
Not
it.
at all.
Exactly.
Not at all. So what? So do you see only women, or you see men as well?
I see men. I see men
Okay.
as well. Majority are women. Majority are women,
Okay.
and I see people who are ready to make changes. So
Okay.
I've noticed that unfortunately, a lot of times teenagers, um, middle high school, they're not so ready to create adjustments in their life. So
Mm-hmm.
that it becomes a little bit harder for them to get results. But young adults, men or women, if they're ready to make changes and become aware of what's going on in their life, they get
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. wonderful clearing of their acne for sure.
So, what would you say is the number one skin issue that you see and treat?
I think I kind of get half and half. I have in treatment here in my room, I have acne and age management, kind of two different
Mm-hmm.
groups. And in my online courses, I'm focusing right now on holistic acne healing. I will be focusing just a little later on age management for women kind of more of my age, uh, learning how to keep the skin glowing for as long as possible without any
Mm-hmm.
injections, without Botox. So I'm developing that course as well. But right now, I'd like to focus on young people anywhere who are ready to clear their skin. Not everyone can get access to facials, or maybe people looking
Mm-hmm.
for guidance. So I'm holding this space for them in a small group setting where we are um, one day a week we meet, online, and we learn about all these different aspects of different pillars that I mentioned about the diet, the lifestyle, the treatments, the skincare, and the inner outer alignment. And the second time in the week we meet, they're doing their homework, and then we meet, and there's question and answers, there's emotional coaching that I'm doing, there's home facials that we're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding their hand. They're with me, twice a week for 90 days. So they can actually start clearing their skin and being out of the woods after 90 days, and know how to take care of their skin after that. Because if you really are serious and committed after 90 days, you should be pretty confident knowing what needs to be done. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask, like, is there like a graduation period, or at what point does it, like, is it, oh, you're good to go?
Yeah, you're good to go. I have to say, it takes more than 3 months to completely clear skin because our body takes time to heal. If you for years you've had a diet that was not, very conducive to your healthy skin, in 3 months you will start really detoxing. You will start really clearing. You'll see the light. And it depends. Some people are so committed that they actually see a lot of clearing in 3 months. But usually, it'll take a little time, and it's okay because, well, what
Mm-hmm.
you need guidance for this 3 months. And I've worked with people beyond that as well. But at least I feel like the first 90 days are very important for them to be guided. So because people have questions as well.
Absolutely. So, in terms of nutrition, because you kind of alluded to it earlier with
Mhm.
the American diet and just the food that we have to intake. So, what does nutrition look like? Are we staying away from fried foods and getting more fruits and vegetables?
The nutrition is really important. So at the minimum, I always tell people, please reduce sugar, reduce dairy, and junk food. That's like, that goes without saying right away. Go back to just whole foods, like a regular foods, like your grandma would be cooking. Some things
Mm-hmm.
like, it could be plain, honestly. I remember one of my clients who really got good results fast. Yes, she was helping, she's a young adult. She was helping her, like her mom was helping her with cooking as well. So it made it a little bit more easier. But she was definitely eating like just like vegetable soups, just some chicken, grilled chicken, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
buckwheat, some clean rice. So it was nice and clean, even though maybe a little bit more repetitive, but we knew this food was good, that it's going to start the detoxification process and will be supporting her body. And at the same time, I gave her some supplements to start clearing all the junk out of your body, like your mucus, your candida, yeast from the body, because all of that, it wants to purge, and that's why you have acne on your face.
Mm. And so the supplements that you mentioned, is that something that's your supplements that
No, this is
okay.
supplement. A holistic medical doctor, Dr. Ben Johnson's of Osmosis Beauty. There's
Okay.
other companies that I also use, but this is something that is being tested and proven, been working for years and years and years. We've been using them for the last over 10 years now, that I'm thinking
Okay.
that are
Awesome.
really high quality herbal supplements to help, because without supplements you can do it, but it's going to take longer, and you're going to need much more strict diet, definitely.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
outside of getting acne on the face, you mentioned earlier, like from the, I guess from the jaw down, is that also considered acne?
Yes, yes. It's just a
Okay.
different type of acne. It's more of a hormonal distress. It doesn't have to do as much with food, but it has to do with pesticides in the food, for example. So,
Mm.
acne in the neck, a lot of times that's pesticides, right?
So is that
That's
not from washing like the vegetables and
Yeah,
stuff?
so
Like,
we suggest, if possible, to buy organic, or at least focus on that dirty dozen that is, it's easy to look up. EWG puts out every year dirty dozen and clean 15. So there's certain foods that it's okay to buy not organic, because they're not absorbing so much of that chemicals of the junk, the pesticides, and there's certain of them it's really preferable if you buy organic if possible, because they're just ridden with glyphosates and other pesticides. And unfortunately, for some of us, we're sensitive to it, and we start purging through the skin. Again,
mm-hmm.
skin is a organ of detox, of elimination. So yes, and there's some acne also on the chest and the back as well. And we find that could be also from chlorine in the water, that people drink, if the source of water is not really good. So you gotta always check how good is the filtration of the water that you're drinking. Some people,
Wow.
they swim too much in chlorine pools. That could also
Mm-hmm.
create that problem for them. But a lot of times it's just they drink water that is not a very high quality, or
So,
even the tap water. Sorry.
oh no, that's okay. You said the tap water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the
Uh-huh.
restaurant, they serve you tap water.
Mhm. Yeah. So with so I this you're probably teaching me something with this. I'm pretty sure you are. So you mentioned organic versus not organic. So organic, does that mean no pesticides? Is
Yes.
that what
Yeah.
organic means?
Yes, no pesticides. That it's been grown in the sustainable way. That is, the earth, the soil is not damaged. That they grow it in a way that is
Mm,
healthy. Also, and yes, that they don't spray with chemicals that are so, it helps them to grow. Yes, but then we consume them through the foods, because the food's absorbing it, unfortunately. So
so like
uh-huh.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was like, go ahead.
I was just saying that if there's a possibility at all to find out where your food is coming from, and
Mm-hmm.
usually if it's organic, it has the use the organic stamp on it, that it's been
Mm-hmm.
tested, that it's hopefully organic and done correctly. Also, sometimes people go to farmers markets, and farmers markets can actually, if you know who you're buying from there, it might not say officially organic, but because it's expensive, people have to pay fees to have it tested and checked and have that stamped. But so some small farmers might just have a really good clean produce, but it's just not stamped organic. So if you know your local farmer, maybe there's someone there who how they um, grow the food, the produce, then buy from them. It's just, we do whatever we can.
I love the farmers market. So
Yeah.
that's really good. So Um, like in the last 2 to 3 years, I've seen people do like the cleanse with the veggies and the fruit. Like they have either the spray, or I've even seen like this thing. It looks like a big battery or a pill, and they'll put it like in the water. Like,
Yeah, I've
are
seen
those
that.
things? Is that? I guess I'm like, is it working?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say.
To be honest with you, the ones with the battery I haven't tried, so I can't say. I know that washing is going to help. It's good. I don't know if it's going to remove the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably it's it won't. It's better to have organic, but I do know that washing with those sprays, it does help. It does help. It's better
Okay.
than
Yeah, I even see people like put them in baking soda.
Yeah,
Like,
baking soda can do a lot of miraculous things all over the house.
I'm sure I clean my hair with baking soda. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it can even be added to certain like homemade things for the skin, but please don't rub straight baking soda on your face. They should have limits.
No
Yeah.
baking soda on your face, guys. Don't do that. Oh wow. Well, dang, I learned something. I never knew that organic meant, is it less pesticides or none?
Well, it should be none, you know.
None. Okay.
They should treat it with like non-chemical, like a different type of some sort of fertilizer, right?
Okay.
You know.
Well, this makes me happy. I started my garden last Sunday and
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
yes, and I my goal is to one day only eat what I grow because I've
That
already cut out meat, and so I'm like just get towards just eating my food that I grow, and so
That's amazing. If you can do that, that's amazing. And by the way, speaking of meat, that's also one of the things that I try to help people reduce as we start treatment, especially pork. It seems like a lot of people just get more of a purging when they eat, conventionally grown meat, red meat. So that's also something that we reduce.
I'm glad you said that. That goes into the thing that I was going to ask you next that I think plays a direct role with meat and especially
Mhm.
pork. Parasites. Like,
Yeah.
how does parasites play a role in like this skin, acne and all the break-in?
I think that we all have some sort of parasites. They say that that's, kind of given. It's just it creates a problem when
Mm-hmm.
it's out of hand, I think. Just like with Candida, it's a bacteria and yeast in the body. That causes a lot of problem with acne. As far as
Mm-hmm.
parasites, it's just overall health. I think it's good to be checked and from time to time do the parasite cleanse. I don't see it having a direct correlation with acne. It's more of an
Okay.
either. But overall, usually when you start detoxing, you detox, people go into detoxing for that as well. And that is a good question already for like an integrative, functional physician. Like there's a good
Mm-hmm.
wonderful practitioners nowadays that I think more doctors should be like this. They would be a medical doctor, but they also have the other training, the functional medicine, they call it training, where they combine, this kind of practices. Like they can help, they can get you tested, they can have you have cleanse, appropriate under their supervision. So things like that. Yeah, but it is relevant. You're right.
Okay. Because I've always thought about that. So with I see like all these parasite cleanse, well, detox, and I'm like, yeah, take this. But I've seen it where people end up in the hospital, and
Exactly.
so
That's why I said you have to be careful with that. Like, I agree. Yeah, that's why I said it's best to do it under supervision. Although I understand sometimes it's expensive, So I
hmm
understand people want to do it. So at the minimum, I would say like I don't just grab something that's advertised well. At least find a mentor, at least get a consultation or something, or research a lot before you.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, because everyone also has other conditions maybe that they shouldn't
hmm
be doing the cleanses. You know what I mean? And if you
yeah,
cleanse, but your diet is still bad, then you're gonna feel even worse. It's like cleanses they do sometimes make us feel a little bit under the weather. It's a detox symptoms and it's normal, but you need to adjust your lifestyle at least during that cleanse and hopefully beyond if you want to keep the result. Yeah.
okay. And so with gut health,
Hmm.
does that have a direct tie to the skin and?
Yes. Good health of your digestive system, of your gut, for sure. That's a lot of like when you see people having acne like through their cheek area right here.
Mhm.
So it's one of two things. It's either their digestive system is really out of whack or they're using bad blush, and they're breaking out there. So
Uh,
that's you have to always check what's going on, every little thing.
mhm.
What are you using? But most of the time, if it's from makeup, it's not like huge breakouts. It's like, little bumps, that come out, but not like really severe acne of any sort. That's already for sure internal. But we always go through everything. You gotta go through everything that touches you, or
Mm-hmm.
the well, like you just have to. If you see that your body is in distress and it shows it as acne on the face, we need to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what's going on. We need to check everything, and that's what we do in in my treatments in the room here, or in my online consultations and courses. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, how does mindset play in like skin transformation, and what has that looked like with the clients that you get? Because I'm pretty sure there's probably some people that it's probably a little harder to get that mindset shift.
Yes, a lot of people actually, because many times I get them when uh, they're so exhausted and they're just sick of trying different things, and they I
Mm-hmm.
tell, but are you sure this is gonna work? Are you sure this is gonna? And I understand it's legit when you've been disappointed so many times and you tried everything, and there's so much pressure that they feel on themselves, like you were saying, right? Avoiding the mirrors, avoiding the pictures, right? Avoiding showing up, putting thick makeup on. You like, I call this, again, I call this the skin exile. Like they're
Yeah.
separating from themselves. They're just throwing themselves away, trying to, because of their skin. So that's where mindset comes in, right? We bring them home, like we release the pressure. Just less pressure. You don't have to fight this. And again, mindset can align really well when we know that there's a path. We know that
Mm-hmm.
there's, or at least knowing that there is a possible path, that there's a way of helping this. So I usually tell people this. So now that you know what to do, tell me, how would you like your skin to look? If you had a magic wand and I call you tomorrow and your skin is just the way you want it, tell me, how you would you like your skin to look? Like, finish the sentence. My skin is. And a lot of times, unfortunately, because people are so exhausted with everything and so down, they usually say, yeah, my skin is less breaking out. My skin is, just not so puffy. And I'm asking them, no, no, no. Tell me
Even
how
with the magic wand.
not over. Yeah, sometimes. So I have to say, like, that magic wand, I have to say that word again, like, bring their attention because they're so far away,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Wow.
So yeah, I just want to have less scars from my acne, something like that. So I said, what does it mean? Less scars, or no acne. It means my skin is clear. So, oh,
Mm-hmm.
my skin is clear. And what else? Like, oh, I like when it's glowing. Yeah, so my skin is clear and glowing. Like, very popular affirmation that we usually pick. Like, it's your
Mm-hmm.
affirmation, skin goal. That's your goal. That's where you go. So that's gonna be the goal, our affirmation that we always think of now when we apply products, when we choose what to eat, when we follow the path and the protocol. Because you investing your money, your resources, your time, not because my skin is so bad and is breaking out, but because I have my goal that I'm going to. Because I'm doing all of this and my skin is becoming better,
Mm-hmm.
better every day, little by little. The body's healing, and it's going to be clear and glowing. And it's not toxic positivity, because we acknowledge what's going on, we know what's going on, we
Mm-hmm.
attend that, and I invite them to become aware. Like, the moment you start telling yourself, oh, again, this people, like, or whatever you say negative, when you look in the mirror or when you start applying your products, you have to stop yourself. So stop, and you can even say cancel, like, no more, cancel. And then
Mm-hmm.
if you cannot say anything kind, then don't even say anything. Just apply your products, turn on the music, maybe just do it in a positive way. Because guess what? Our energy, is charging everything that we do, right? Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
charging the product with the negativity. And then you apply it and you wear it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You charge your product with the, positive energy, with not the negativity. And then you apply it, and then you go, by your day, about your day. So you're creating just a little bit less pressure, and you're creating more support, and you're creating more of a, kindness all around for yourself, and that kindness to yourself is something that I've been working on for myself as well, because I've never had
Mm-hmm.
acne, right? It's not like I struggle with acne and I learned how to heal it. I'm a trained professional to treat skin conditions, so that's different. But the mental aspect of mindset, that I've struggled a lot with throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Being positive, find positive things, having gratitude for what you have, and appreciating little results and little things. Through years, last 20 years, I've been working, doing a lot of self growth, self development, and that's why I wanted to bring it to my clients as well. So again, you
Mm-hmm.
coming for your skin, but skin is just a door into the
Yeah.
inner healing. That's how it works. I hope it makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, and that's really good. That's really good. I'm glad that you can bring all of it together to say, your skin is the door, but what is going on deeper? Like, what are you struggling with inside? And especially being positive. So I think just like in a society that we're in where you can get on social media and everything is so filtered,
Mhm.
and you have people who are hiding behind these phones and the screen,
Yes.
and they only show the good. They're not showing you like the scars or the acne, that a lot of people will start comparing. And I think that has a huge mental toll on people who are already struggling, like with appearance. So
Yes.
yeah, I feel like now in this time it's just worse than any other time.
Yes, yes. And may I say something that, it's been researched and published that spending time on social media is not really beneficial for your mental health. We already know all of that, especially for young people. And comparison is one of the worst things we can do to ourselves, in my opinion.
Mhm.
It's awful because we're all unique. We're all going through our own journeys, and we all dealing with something. Even those people who are, show this filtered face,
Mhm. Yes, sometimes they going through the worst stuff, and
exactly, exactly. So
yeah.
if you're one of those people who are feeling really bad about yourself and you're listening to our conversation now, I hope that you know that it's this is not, an example to follow looking at those social media scrolls, right?
Yeah.
It's turning inwards and you're asking what's right for me, and
Mhm.
hopefully finding a mentor who would help you to just learn what you don't know. It's just, learning. You're meant to learn something if you're presented with problem, any problem. We're meant to learn about it, hopefully, and grow from it, and
Mhm.
creating light from darkness. So, and it's possible.
Absolutely.
It's really possible.
Absolutely. And just remember that comparison is a thief to joy. So comparing yourself to others can always steal your joy, because not many people are going to show like what they're really going through, what they really look like online. They're going to show you what they want you to see, and
Yeah.
don't compare yourself. Everybody's their unique individual, and you matter.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Thank you very much for saying that. Well said.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, what is the Radiant Skin Wellness Journey? Like, what's the background?
That's yeah, that's my online course. So Radiance Coach is my online brand that I felt called to basically create after years and years and years of doing the facials one-on-one with clients. That's my inner harmony facial that I call, when we, do all of these things that I described one-on-one, but
Mm-hmm.
which is nice also when you have person one-on-one. Of course, it's great because we also do meditation with them while they have a face mask on, right? We do breathing, we do
Mm.
really nice. That's why it's inner harmony. So I work with them while I'm working on their skin. I'm coaching people who really want to grow on whatever, issue is going on. Like, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
with their, and then once we grow, and create that, mental shift there to the positive, they understand how to treat their skin and talk about their skin, and have this positive affirmation with them. We then coach with other things, maybe stress management, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
about the exams, or their kids or whatever, so we always have something to grow, right, like as we mentioned. So we do that, so you feel lighter inside, and at the same time I'm treating their skin. So towards the end I'm doing the masking, and we start meditation, we start breathing, so
Mm-hmm.
we embody all of that. So when I decided to bring all of this online, of course I cannot touch them physically,
Mm-hmm.
but I figured out how I can do this the closest possible way, is that I consult, just like I was saying, figuring out all of these four pillars: their diet, the like nutrition part, their lifestyle and what needs to be adjusted, their skincare and supplements. I send them all of it to my clients so they can be under my care, just like clients here one on one. And of course, that wellness inner outer alignment piece. So we do that, individually, and then as a group we learn. And that's my
Okay.
wellness journey course. So we learn twice a week. you know once a week it's more of a learning about all these different aspects, and then second day of the week we're actually doing that meditation. We're
Okay.
applying masks at home, like a home facial,
Okay.
and coaching. So, and that's a 90-day course.
Okay. I was gonna ask how long the course was. So it's 90 days, 2 days a week.
Yeah,
And so is it an individual course one day and then together the second day, or how does that work?
it's a group. It's in a group. So,
Okay.
it's a smaller group, so I can actually keep it, a tab on everybody and hold their hand, because everyone is going to have certain adjustments that they just need just them. And we're learning in the group, one day a week, and the second day a week again in the group. We are, if there's question and answers, and there's group meditation and stuff. But everyone gets an individual consultation before we start to map out their supplements, because one person might need certain things, and another person might need same and more or less. So everyone gets their individual consultation in the beginning and at the end, and then
Hmm.
everything in the group.
So how do they
So
get the mask? Is there a
I would
certain mask that,
I would ship them
oh,
all the
you shipped?
products.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
professional products that I use
Uh,
in the room here, and then certain things they can use at home. So like my clients here, they buy them and they use them at home, for example. So I would set the program and I would ship them their products. So as the program starts, they're gonna use the products under my supervision, and
okay.
take supplements under my supervision, just like I
Okay.
do. Yeah,
Okay. And you're located in California?
I'm in California. Yeah, Southern.
Okay.
In California. I felt like not everyone has access to an esthetician,
Mm-hmm.
one on one, but I think online makes it now possible to have that mentorship. It's basically a
Mm-hmm.
mentorship, guidance, mentorship, learning of what's going on. Like today, with this pesticides, right? We learned something. So
Yeah.
this and a lot more, we learn in a group. So we
Yeah.
understand what's going on right now, and what do I do for me. And then you bring authority back to yourself, so you understand and you can align with yourself, not everywhere, scroll by scrolling and trying to find,
Yeah.
maybe this, maybe that.
Yeah.
So
Also, then you open it up for, more people to, like you said, they may not have access to
yeah,
the services where they are and they can get online and get it.
it's
I like that.
that.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is also for people who don't want to be taking medications, because a lot of times people go to dermatologists, and unfortunately there's only certain things that they do. They just give them
Mm-hmm.
topical or internal antibiotics or tretinoid
Mm-hmm.
that make skin very, very sensitive. So there's certain ways of how to do all of this, so you're not suffering. And a lot of times, unfortunately, because they don't have time for patients, they just prescribe them something and they go.
Mm-hmm.
They
Go
don't
on about
spend
your way.
diet and all of that.
Yeah.
So
That.
people take antibiotics for a long time and there's still no changes, because other things needs to change too.
Oh, trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. I have my own skin battle that I've been having for years, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna check you out because I think, I don't know. I think it might be stress. It may be anxiety. Who knows?
Well,
Um, but what
it's
kind of I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said it's definitely a message that the skin is giving you.
Yes, yes,
Or-
and I hear it loud and clear. It's yeah. It was almost ruining my day at one point.
See,
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, so outside of the clear skin, glowing skin, all the things with the skin, outside of those things, what are some other transformations that your clients experience?
Well, definitely more confident. They create more confidence for themselves. They create more awareness of how they treat themselves. They're learning to reframe negative beliefs about themselves, about their skin, and hopefully about many other things in life, because it's the same technique that can be applied everywhere else. I'm just bringing this really tried and true coaching techniques, human communications techniques into the skincare world, right? So
Mm-hmm.
help them. But all of this is applied in other areas of life, and that's what we do. Once we've squared it out with this about the skin, we now help them with other matters to bring the confidence up, to learn to treat yourself kindly. So it's definitely a shift in confidence and self-worth, and just overall, hopefully, their joy level, joy
Mm-hmm.
level, right? Peace, inner peace, and I think that my work will open up the possibilities of people being interested in more of a personal growth and self development, because I'm focusing on their skin mostly, but I'm opening the door in this other realms, right?
Mm-hmm.
About personal growth, about deeper, about nutrition. So to me, I think it's creating this openings for people to explore deeper if they're ready as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Combining life coach with skin healing. Um, I love the work. I love what you're doing. It's I've never, I wouldn't even thought of anything like that, but they directly tie together. So I just want to thank you for actually taking on this journey with people and actually realizing that it goes deeper than the skin, and that there's inner things that people are dealing with outside of not liking what's on their face, or what it's on whatever part of their skin. I think that is it's pretty genius, because it's just, like you said, the dermatologist, you go to them and then it's like, oh, here's a prescription. They're buds with big pharma, so they get commission from getting you to fill this prescription, whereas you're going deeper and getting to the root of what's causing the issues, and then also helping clear the skin. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. That's really major, Jana. Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's what makes my work fulfilling and interesting, because I actually started to experience a burnout and some boredom, some years back, before I finally realized to bring this in, to combine them, because I just felt like it's not really, it's just symptoms management, and it was getting just
Hmm.
repetitive for me. At one point, I even thought, you know what, maybe I'm just going to stop, doing, because I've been doing it for so long, since 90s. I mean, I did have a little break while my kids were really small,
Hmm.
but the last 15 years, I've been working again full time. I just realized that once it clicked, the puzzle kind of came together when I understood that the missing pieces were, the inner alignment, and of course your diet and all, but especially the inner alignment. That's when it made my work so interesting. All of a sudden, it's just
Yes.
new level right away.
Yes. Because I'm sure people have expressed, like, how they feel. And I'm sure they do that at the dermatologist's office, but they're like, yeah, it's not my job to deal with your feelings.
Exactly.
Just put this cream on it and shut up. And that's just, so, and it's so easy to do. Like,
Yeah.
what you are doing is so important, and I know it's probably not always easy for you to do. So you are greatly appreciated. I'm sure the audience feels the same way. Yeah. I'm excited about this. I can't wait to listen back to this interview because that, like, you know, I love what you're doing. This is
Thank you.
probably no shade to anybody else I've interviewed, but this is probably my favorite because it's two things that are problems that are being brought together in a way that I don't think people think about it. Like, especially when skin, nobody's tying skin to emotional wellness. It's like, it's a skin problem. We're going to fix the skin problem. So,
But we're not just a skin walking around, right?
yes, not just
Our
at all.
thoughts and our body all together. It's just and think about it, how clever nature made it. It's on your skin, the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you see your face right away every day. It's a
Yeah.
message right in your face.
Yeah.
So
And
we
then I was going to say
understand.
also, if you don't deal with the inner thing, then you may feel. I think some people are just like, I don't care how my skin look. Like, they're just so fed up and not having that positive reinforcement to feel good about themselves that they give up on the skin issue as a whole. Whereas if I deal with the inner thing, then I feel better about myself. So I can get rid of this. I can. This isn't me. Like, I'm bigger than this acne or whatever.
Yeah, of course. It's not, I love all of this like self body image acceptance, or how it's like trendy right now. But at the same time, if you think about it, if there's a disbalance of sort going on, yes, we still love and accept ourselves, but it's our duty and responsibility to take care of our body. We're given the
Hmm.
body. It needs to be healthy. That's all. Like, I'm not proclaiming that we need to strive for some really unimaginable, like goals that looking like, 30 when you're 50 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just be healthy and glowing looking.
Hmm.
Look younger, a little bit
Yeah.
younger. Thank you for that. If
Yeah.
I can,
Why
I
not?
too. I try, I don't know. But I think the most important is that inner glow, and then that inspires us to take care of ourselves in the healthy ways, not extremes, not fighting ourselves, not hating our skin and therefore starting, let's do more of certain things, but just
Hmm.
in a very harmonious way, let's say.
Absolutely. So, based on your expertise, what would you say is one misconception or something that is not true that you like to set the record straight on?
Well, I I think I'll be, I guess, repeating myself again, but this is what we've been talking about, that acne is just a surface problem, that we need to
Um,
just treat our skin just topically, and that's what it is. We need to control the symptoms that are coming out. That's a misconception.
okay.
It is much deeper than that.
That's fair. That is fair. What is something that a message that you would give to a person who is maybe struggling with their acne and their skin? What's something that you want to leave them with?
Yes. First of all, I want you to know that I totally understand and hear you and see you. I see many clients who go through this, so I know exactly what you're going through. And I wanted to say that when we shift from fighting our skin or our body into supporting it, and we relieve some of this pressure, we're immediately going to start feeling better. So that's number one. We're going to stop fighting and blaming and hating on our skin and ourselves. And I want you to know that nowadays it's possible to have healthy, clear skin. The path is there. Just need a little bit of a mentorship, of sources that you can trust and you can learn from. The skin is just a messenger, and you're meant to learn a lot and gain a lot of joy and knowledge through this journey. Clear.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Well, what are some of the ways that we can get in contact with you if the audience wanted to connect with you and do your online course, your socials, all of that good information?
Yeah, you're welcome to contact me through my website, radiance-coach.com. I actually have a little PDF that they can download, complimentary free PDF. It's a Radiance Reset that talks, in short, about what we talked today.
Mm-hmm.
So have all of that and start maybe implementing few things. It pops up right on my website. And of course, just contacting me through the website or through Instagram or TikTok. I'm kind of just starting on social media. I haven't been on it much. I've been working with my
Mm-hmm.
clients mostly, here in the studio, but we're now growing Instagram and TikTok too. So because I think women and men deserve to get that information, um, know that
Absolutely.
relief is possible. And so it's Instagram at Radiance Coach, where I can be reached as well.
Yep. And I will put all of Zhanna's information in the description below so that you all can connect with her. So all of her socials, her website, um, so that you guys can connect with her. And I just want to leave you out with this. Healing isn't just what people see, it is also what you believe in yourself and what you believe from what's coming inside. And just
Yeah.
remember, you matter. And
Thank
I want
you.
to thank you so much for being here today, Zhanna. Thank you, the audience, for tuning in and listening to today's episode. And I appreciate you all. And until next time, peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.